Morning everybody. Normally I do a kiln opening and show you what's come out of the kiln. Today I'm going to show you a kiln packing or parts of it. Just prepping it now, it's all clean and tidy. Just show you, I actually cut some new shelves and back washed them. They're all drying under there, or they're dry now. Under there, kiln's empty. As you can see, I've got a raised up shelf here. There's a slight gap underneath it because it oxidizes underneath and it doesn't get to temperature, so I've raised the floor up a little bit and allowed a gap around it for exhaust fumes. That's the this is where the gas comes in. It's a deflector there and comes up into the kiln, swirls around the kiln through all the pots and then down out of the flue there. The flue goes across the floor, under the floor, and out of the chimney there. This is the damper. All the markings on for the various reduction stages, so the sort of R1, R2. So the first reduction is there, second reduction is a little bit deeper, and then it's open, so that's open full. Right, just gonna excuse me, just going to bring some of the pots through now and we'll start putting them in. Okay, these are Temmaku. These have got a Temmaku glaze on. I've already stuck the wadding on the bottom. Saves messing around in the kiln. I hate it when you're trying to put wadding on stuff and it falls off. So the day before I packed the kiln, I glue wadding on. 9 times out of 10 it stays on. And so I'm just going to put these in. These is a cone 9 glaze. The bottom of my kiln only gets to cone 9. I could alter the kiln and try and figure out how to get an even firing right the way through, but I quite like this Temmaku and it's a nice glaze at cone 9, so why not use the kiln to do what it wants to do. So these are just going in. I'm just arranging these pots in now so they fit in nicely. It's a little bit like three-dimensional Tetris. There's the benefits of having the wadding glued to the bottom, and that is that I can just shuffle these around a little bit. I'll just show you. You can shuffle them around a little bit. The wadding's stuck on the bottom. We can move them about, or I can move them about. The wadding doesn't fall off most of the time. Just make sure that none of them are touching. I've got a bit of a gap here, unfortunately, but it's the way it is. This is the trickiest bit, getting the bottom shelves in. I always prop on 3 shelves, then it's the most stable. Making sure that it's equal distance. Gap at the back. That's solid enough. Okay, time for the next layer. Okay, that's the next layer in. That's the second shelf. It's quite tightly packed. They're all Nuka glazes. Various size pots. Props are in, three props. Always put the props above the prop below, that way the shelves don't bend. And that's it. Put another kiln shelf in, and off we go again. These shelves have got backwash on. I backwash them with a roller and then I dust alumina on top as well, just for an additional surface. It's fairly soft at the moment, but once it's fired, that will seal itself on a lot easier. And we start putting the next layer in. You can overhang, put the wadding with the two edges against the edge. That makes sense. You can overhang into the space, gets more pots in. And just choose a kiln prop that's the right size. It's a bit too tall, that one, obviously. There are some castellated stacking ones here, that's better. I'll put that one across the back there. Around the corner. Start packing right through. Right, that's the last one on the third shelf. Next shelf. Make sure nothing's touching. Nice and steady, very good. I even utilised the bag wall. There are some birds there, and there some small birds that I make. It's good to use every surface you can. I don't pack it right the way along because it makes the bag wall taller and you can get less gas flow across. So leave a gap in between them, but I stack little pots along there. They get nice and toasty. Okay, a slight alteration to the setup. The back here I've got a half shelf because I've got these tall bottles to get in, and I don't want to do a full. There isn't enough for a full shelf, and I'm wasting space. What I've done is I've put a half shelf in. Now I did say earlier that you should always stack prop above prop, but these kiln shelves are an inch thick, fairly stiff, and there's not going to be a great deal of weight from that top shelf on. If I was putting big pots on there, I'd have to prop it all the way down, but I can get away with it having just two props in the centre of the shelf there. This top's being left for a friend. Penny with us is coming to fire some pots in my kiln, and she's bringing them later, so she will have that top shelf there, and then I'm going to do two shelves here, and then she'll have the top of the shelf here at the end. So I'll just show you that when it's finished and filled in. Okay, that's the last of my shelves going in. Over the back there you see there's a gap. That's where Penny's work will come. She's bringing that over later today. The top cone pack is in the top there ready. There'll be a spy hole here we can take out, check that. Once two go down and the last one starts to bend, I know that the temperature's reached its ideal height, ideal temperature. Got a little gap here, which is unfortunate. There might be something with pennies that'll fit in there, but apart from that, it's a nice stack, nice and even. Just a question of building up the wicket. The wicket is the door. This is the door here. Doors have hinges. Kilns without doors have wickets. So that's bricked up and sealed, and the pyrometer goes in. Sorry, the thermocouple goes in. The pyrometer's on the wall over there, and then it's all ready for an early start tomorrow morning. I hope that's informative. This is the way I pack my kiln. You know, everybody has to find their own way of doing it. This is my way of doing it. Fairly tried and trusted by myself, so why change it if it works?